What is up? What's going on, guys? Welcome to Party on Broad. Today, we are counting down our top 10 safety prospects in the 2024 NFL Draft. I'm a little under the weather, but the show must continue. Guys, if you're watching us live, please be sure to comment your thoughts on all of these intriguing prospects, and also give this video a like. We've already covered the top 10 linebackers, cornerbacks, edge rushers, and am I missing one? I might be missing one. I'm not sure. But it's all down there in the links in the description below. Joining us, as always, he is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What's good, Ryan?
Not much, man. Just ready to finish out this week right before the Christmas holiday season. Ready to relax, ready to enjoy some Christmas football. And also some bowl games this weekend. So
yes.
Very excited. Great weekend for some football.
Absolutely. Let's just jump right into this thing. Leading off, number one, it is Cameron Kinchens out of Miami. Just a steady producer over the last 2 years. He's racked up 162 total tackles, 14 pass deflections, and 11 interceptions. Really good awareness, excellent read and reactability. He's a versatile defender in the pass game. He has countless snaps as both a deep defender from the one high look and in man coverage from the slot. So, Howie and the Eagle scouts love that level of versatility in the secondary. Really good route recognition. I also like, for better or worse, the level of physicality Cameron Kinchens brings to the position. I think this shows up most when he's taking on blocks. I think he uses his hands really well to gain leverage and does a really good job of disengaging to get to the ball carrier. Negative-wise, he can definitely be too aggressive. We're going to be saying that a lot in this group. But I think he does a pretty good job anticipating the throw, but his poor eye discipline, he struggles with double moves. He can definitely, learn and improve upon his technique. I think this guy is a stud. I see him in that back end of round one area. I think this guy has the versatility to play in multiple schemes and coverage. He has the physicality to defend the run from multiple levels. I just think he needs to solidify his tackle security in the NFL, learn some technique, but the sky is the limit for Cameron Kinchens, man. Any thoughts on this?
Yeah, this guy is absolutely just a playmaker, honestly. He's out there being involved, and you just see him flying all over the place. He's definitely somebody that I think can do well in the NFL as far as lining up all over the place. He just has that instinct to be around the ball, and that's something that you just can't teach. And Kinchens is just, honestly, he's fun to watch. It really is. So. Definitely. I like your note on not only him, but the whole group as a general, in general, kind of an aggressive group, if you will. But yeah, Kinchens, I think will thrive in the next level. What up, Mitch?
What's up, Mitch? Thanks for joining, man. After the Eagles kind of missed out on Brian Branch, a similar guy, like a Swiss Army knife kind of guy that can do a lot of roles. I would love to see Cameron Kinchens in Midnight Green. Ryan, let's roll on to number two. And this is honestly one of my favorite prospects, especially in that round two area. He is Tyler Nubin out of Minnesota.
Yeah, no, Tyler Nubin, I feel like probably early before the season was probably in many people's number one, but he's right there with Kinchens 1A, 1B at this point. He really does have a great straight line speed that he really is able to punish his receivers with that closing speed and just he's one of those guys that loves to hit. He really does make a pretty good impact, and he just has kind of almost a desire to get involved physically. So He's definitely a guy that has quick and powerful hands, able to kind of get engaged with receivers. But certainly, he's a guy that can track the ball all over the field, get his head around, and really does have excellent, high point ability, great ball skills. And just to add the fact that he's a really good tackler to boot, especially in the run game. But yeah, his frame I feel like is a great fit for the safety and NFL safety right now. And he certainly is somebody that is versatile, as he's played a lot of it in the box, man coverage, kind of all over, as Minnesota's asked him to do. So he doesn't necessarily have like elite top end speed, but as far as like straight end, straight speed, he really is quick and can kind of catch up when need be. And yeah, he does, again, kind of a little bit too aggressive, likes to lower the boom rather than secure the tackle at times. But again, I think once you get into the NFL, that's certainly something that they're going to kind of mold into more of a surer tackler. But yeah, Newman's again, great athlete, just guy who has good instincts, and you can see the intelligence on the field for sure.
Yeah, I like his potential in the slot too. Like, this is a safety, he's a nickel corner, just like Brian Branch, just a guy that can play all over the field, has size to cover tight ends. Really like that dude. I did an individual scouting report on him on this channel, so go check that out. It includes highlights and his top plays of 2023 as well, and PFF stats and grades and all that fun stuff. So go check that out. Rolling into our number 3 safety prospect. This is a guy that anytime you watch Michigan, this guy's name comes up a ton. It is Rod Moore, 6 foot, 198 pounds. He's one of the team, leaders of one of the best, if not the best, defense in college football. His ability to read the play and make critical tackles has just been instrumental to this defense becoming as elite as they are. He's just another guy that I think is kind of getting slept on. I think a lot of people don't talk about him enough. I think this might sound crazy, but he might have first-round talent. He's arguably the most complete safety prospect outside of Kinchins and Nubin. First up, he's got elite football IQ, man. When we talk about how Nubin and Kinchins can be too aggressive or grabby, that's not Rod Moore, man. Ryan, ready for this? Through 3 seasons at Michigan, he's only had 1 penalty called on him. Just
really,
one. Yeah. So
I did not know that. That is discipline at its finest.
I know. Negative wise, I think Rod Moore is a guy that's kind of that jack of all trades, master of none kind of dude. He's got a lean build. He's not exactly a twitch athlete. Because of that, I think matching up against some NFL wide receivers in small, confined spaces could be a concern. He doesn't have that elite speed. He doesn't have that elite closing burst. But I think this guy's going to be drafted round 3 to 4. And that, that lack of physical traits might limit what scheme he best fits into at the next level. But I think this guy is a solid football player with great football IQ and just a knack for always being around the ball. I'm not sure if he's playing against Alabama in the college football playoff, but he has a chance to really make a name for himself. Rod Moore is definitely worth your attention.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's a shame. I kind of agree. I don't know if he is going to be able to play, but yeah, he's certainly somebody that, it's definitely that next tier of safety after Kinchins and Nubin. But yeah, he's definitely a guy that I think will probably, like you said, maybe sneak into the second. But again, safeties don't seem to be all that important in the NFL as far as draft capital is concerned. So, again, it does change from year to year as far as kind of the flow of these positions. But I expect it to remain the same and kind of safety be pushed back to the back burner. Maybe not as far as low as linebackers are disrespected, but yeah, they're not too far off. But yeah, I think he can probably maybe end up late second, but probably third or fourth is most likely. Oh, you're muted.
I said Mitch loves Rod Moore. He's our
Yeah,
resident Michigan fan.
wow, yeah, he's held to the Victors, so I get it.
All right, let's roll on to number 4, and that is Javon Bullard out of Georgia, right?
Yeah, listen, we all know SEC, Georgia, Eagles, maybe, but this is a guy that when you first kind of look at him, and outside of any highlights or whatever, you just see that he's always thinking. He has great instincts, good at reading the routes, anticipating throws, and you can see when he's put into zone coverage, he really does excel. He's very strong in that. He does show some promise in man coverage, flashing some physical traits, especially hand usage as far as against the receiver, and does have that straight line speed to stay with those receivers downstairs. But he's kind of a good blend of good size and length with the speed and kind of quickness. And like I said, that instinct, that ability to read routes, he's able to really mirror those wide receivers, especially underneath, and has the good fluid movement to kind of stay and change direction when need be. So. Yeah, he as far as playing the ball in the air, he's really great at kind of getting his head around and playing, at the top end of the route. So, and he doesn't shy away from getting physical, which is certainly something that you always love to see. But he was a little inconsistent. Certainly. Kind of like a bit, hit or miss kind of player where, he'd make a great play and then, later down the line, he'd give up the big play. So, but I think because of that, sometimes, he's very aware of that. So he tends to kind of shy and play a little conservative. So definitely needs to kind of get a little bit more confidence for making those big plays and sticking with it. But yeah, I think this is definitely a guy that's going to be a 3rd, 4th round guy as well, kind of like Rod Moore. And just I think he's got really good length and really good ability and versatile. So can kind of play wherever you need him. So I really like Bullard from Georgia.
Yep, really good prospect there. He has a quarterback rating when targeted of 36.6. That's pretty damn good. And just 1 penalty to his name, 2 interceptions. Not bad. Yeah, it doesn't give you a lot of like pressures, but coverage-wise, really intriguing prospect.
Yeah.
Let's roll on to a guy that we might be a little bit too low on. He is number 5 on this list, but I'm really high on him, and it's Kalen Bullock out of USC. Some of the best measurables and foundation skill sets of any prospect in this class. 6'3". 190 pounds. He's bigger than that. FYI, these graphics were made during the last offseason, so they probably need a little tweaking here and there. But he is up to 190 pounds, elite speed and athleticism. Just a dude that can cover a lot of ground, has a ton of range, flows downhill really well, can keep up with anyone on the sideline on the boundary. It's just the inconsistencies that have me most concerned about him. And that really shows up, especially on tape, in run support. The flashes are certainly there. But this is definitely an area for him to improve upon. His motor is above average, instincts-wise. He seems to be around the football. But going back to those measurables, I think he has ridiculous lateral quickness and agility. He's a ball hawk, man. 9 total interceptions in 3 years. This guy, I think, will be best in the NFL if you let him play with everything in front of him. And teams that need kind of a playmaking safety with coverage abilities will definitely show interest. I expect him to crush the combine. And if he interviews well and shows teams that he has improved his run defense and technique as a tackler, I think this guy has a chance to be in that 1st round conversation. That I think his upside is that high. So that's a little bit on Kalen Bullock.
Yeah, no, he absolutely has that 1st round ability, and I think. Early in the season, I think he was right up there with some of the names we've already talked about. So, I just think perhaps maybe the year USC had, and again, it's it's the Pac-12. It's they're not really always known for their defense, especially this year. So I feel like he kind of gets lost in the shuffle there of how truly good he can be in the NFL for sure.
All right, let's roll on to our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 safety in the class. This guy is as versatile as it gets. He is Cole Bishop out of Utah.
Yeah, no, this is a guy I know I have talked about many a times on here, and yeah, he's certainly somebody that's exciting to watch. Is one of those guys that it seems like every defensive play he's by the ball, whether it's coming up for a tackle, at the line of scrimmage, helping against the run game, or deflecting passes. Making a few interceptions this year. I believe he had 2 interceptions, 3 sacks, forced fumble. He kind of had a little bit of a disappointing season overall, especially up, against some of the bigger opponents like Washington, Oregon. Where kind of didn't really end too good for the Utah Utes. But overall, this kid definitely has great athleticism and great speed, especially when covering tight ends. He's certainly one of those guys that can handle the bigger receivers and has ball skills to create those turnovers. But again, has kind of an overall skill set of being able to blitz, being able to come up in the run game, just deflecting passes, good at good speed, good change of direction, good fluid, versatile play, and again, his instincts are right up there, especially in zone. You see that when he's playing zone in zone coverage. So good tracker of the ball down the field, high points it. One of the better safeties at that. But yeah, I mean, literally, he could use to be a little bit more physical. He is kind of a bigger guy, and again, can handle the bigger, receivers, but seems to not, lower that boom when he can. So maybe adding a little weight this offseason, heading into the NFL, certainly could do him some good, getting a little bit more physical. So yeah, it's definitely something that I think will help his overall game is adding a little bit more weight. But yeah, he's a fun guy to watch, honestly, and he completely runs that Utah defense. And when he is on, that defense is lights out, honestly. Muted again.
Yeah, he's had some big plays for that Utah defense. Let's roll on to our number 7. Yeah,
Yep.
I think prospect in this safety class. It is James Williams going back to Miami. This guy, when it comes to breaking down and grading James Williams, he's all about upside, and more upside. His profile, as well as his projected role, is kind of unique and more confined than most of the prospects on this list. He's 6'5", 215 pounds. He's at his best in run support. Not only is he aggressive, physical, and rangy in the box, but he has solid angle IQ, block deconstruction skills. He's a good tackler. But that unique profile that we just mentioned has some drawbacks, and most of that is in coverage. He does have some fluidity in his hips, but he clearly doesn't have the ideal foot speed or agility you're looking for at that position. So, his role is kind of going to be kind of limited, unlike a lot of prospects on this list where versatility is king. I think his best role might be that of like a hybrid linebacker safety with big slot capabilities, which, you see how many defenses run nickel these days. Like, that's definitely a need. Can he transcend the tweener label? This guy has tweener written all over him. We've seen some other big name safeties pass through in recent years, even ones who have tested really well. I think this is a powerful presence who will likely be viewed by some as a linebacker at the next level. Right now, I've got him as a day 3 pick, but I wouldn't be surprised if a team rolls the dice on him on day 2, because I do expect him to test really well. And that's James Williams.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the safety duo down in Miami is absolutely the best in the country for sure, with Kinchins there. And again, one of those things where when you have one that's, kind of way up there, the second one seems to get a little, undervalued. And I think this is exactly what's happening with him. And, yeah, I feel like if Kitchens wasn't there, he'd be, again, he would be talked about quite a lot more. He's very talented. And yeah, I think again, if he can kind of bulk up a little, or I'm sorry, yeah, kind of maybe, lean into more of the safety role in the NFL. But yeah, he could go either way, honestly.
Yeah. Next up, yeah, definitely one of those boomer bust kind of guys. Well, I'm sure we'll make a video of that at some point. He'll be on that list. But let's roll on to number 8. He's a guy that I also did another scouting report on, and I got to say his tape is really fun. He's had some big tackles and interceptions this year for Alabama, and that is Malachi Moore, Ryan.
Yeah, listen, he's not going to necessarily fill up a stat sheet. That's not really kind of his thing. I mean, he does have 48 tackles, 1 interception on the year. But again, he's definitely just more of a guy that's gonna, shut down, your passing attack. He's instinctual, just absolutely just has an anticipation for throws, reading routes, and just knows exactly where to be. He's tall, long arms, powerful hands, straight line speed that absolutely is no problem for him chasing down the field and staying with these receivers. Also great fluidity in the hips. And again, when you look at him, you said it perfectly. He's really fun to watch. He's a great tackler, plays with such a great energy, and just really seems to always want to be involved in a play. And, you can't teach that instinct. Can be definitely very aggressive, but kind of in a good way, of being able to make the hits and, take on blocks when needed. He definitely isn't, your top speed guy. He definitely runs well, just doesn't have that recovery speed that you might want from a a top end safety. But yeah, I think he might be a little susceptible to that big play ability, wanting to always kind of be involved. But yeah, listen, I think he's versatile, which is going to prove him well in the next level. And he's smart and he's coachable, and he has great instincts. So I think all of these things will serve him really well in the NFL. And again, I think he's probably going to be midday 2, probably around 4, around 5. But still, I mean, again, I think somebody's going to get themselves a worker and somebody who's smart and wants to keep learning.
I feel like I've been talking about or watching Malachi Moore forever. Like I'm fairly certain he was getting big time snaps his freshman year, and really produced. Again, he's lower on the tier of like Alabama guys in this year's draft, but when you watch the tape, man, and you compare that to the stats, like there's nothing flashy about his stats, but I'm telling you, like he's had some big moments this year, whether it's like a tackle for loss or pass deflection and things like that. So go check out that scouting report because it has the highlights of him, and you'll see what I mean.
No, you're 100% right. If you didn't see his stats and you just saw, some of his top plays and film on him, you'd assume his numbers would be doubled. That's exactly how good he can be. It's just he's just kind of a guy that's just there and is involved in the play. And again, that's always something you want from a good safety.
Yeah. When you're watching the defensive highlights for Alabama, the first take is Terrion Arnold, who we covered on the previous show, how much he was around the ball. The other guy is Caleb Downs. He's a cornerback freshman for Alabama. That's coming. He's coming, man. He's a really talented freshman. And then I was surprised that Malachi Moore was so heavily involved. Like, he's right there with Dallas Turner in terms of like making some big plays and big moments. So let's roll on to number 9. We are talking about Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. This is a guy who's gotten better and better and better at Washington State, a balanced prospect who kind of offers some intriguing coverage and pass rushing skills. Washington State used him all over their secondary, lining up in the box, lining up deep, rotating for corner help. He really checks off a lot of boxes as a safety at the next level. I think his best tape this year came against Colorado this season when he was a huge part in containing Travis Hunter, who we all know is a legit freshman phenom wide receiver, cornerback prospect. He held him to 4 receptions for 82 yards, and he was a big component of that. In that game, Jaden Hicks had 9 tackles and showcased his really solid coverage skills. Negative-wise, there isn't much on Hicks's end that screams weakness, at least like bad or below average. I think you could probably say his hip fluidity and footwork are some areas he could get better. But this guy might be one of my favorite sleepers in the draft, pound for pound. I currently have a day 3 grade on Jaden Hicks, but I would not be surprised to see him test really well and hear his name called sometime on day 2. This guy, I'm telling you, will definitely be on a short list of my favorite under the radar prospects. So be on the lookout for Jaden Hicks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said earlier, Pac-12, unfortunately, the defense doesn't really get much respect with how great those offenses are out west. But Hicks is definitely a guy that you really should pay attention to because I think he's gonna surprise some people and climb these rankings. By the time the draft comes.
Yeah, this list for sure has a lot of variability and a lot can change within now and the combine in a couple months and things like that. So let's roll on to number 10, and that is Lathan Ransom out of Ohio State, Ryan.
Lathan Ransom out of the Ohio State. He's definitely a guy who has great ball skills. He's a good tracker. And he does show flashes of real physicality, especially as a hitter. Dude who just hustles, is flying around, and certainly is somebody that can use his height and his vertical to his advantage. In the safety position. So he seems to be somebody that instinctually kind of knows the right path to take, especially when, coverage and lining up a hit. I definitely think, he's the guy that could use a little bit more strength added to his frame. And certainly, has an ability to play a little conservatively, give a little too much cushion off the ball, when playing on man. But he definitely is, deceptively quick, good speed and in pursuit and chasing. But he's definitely a guy that, is a little raw and needs to kind of hone up some of these skills in the NFL. Again, going to be a late day 3 kind of guy, or mid to late day 3 kind of guy. But listen, he definitely is, again, not a guy that's going to blow up the stat sheet. I mean, he only has 34 tackles this year, forced fumble, 1 interception, as compared to like last year, 74 total tackles. Like I said, not a guy that's going to blow up a stat sheet, but he does a lot of things really well. And I think moving on to the next level, he just really needs to hone in on 1 or 2 of those things to kind of really carve out a job out in the NFL. But I like Ransom, as far as a guy that might surprise some people come middle of the draft.
All right, that is our top 10 safety prospects. Guys, if you agree or disagree, let us know down in that comment section below. If we missed out on anybody, also comment, let us know. We're in this for the long haul. We've, again, already covered edge defenders, linebackers, cornerbacks, and now safeties. I feel like I'm missing one. I don't know.
We did tackles, right?
Yeah, we did offensive tackles. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah. It's the only offensive position we've done so far.
But
it's funny because we do this for, essentially, kind of looking at, maybe the birds and what they need. And it's funny, we'll put out those polls and it's all defense most of the time because everybody's just defense. So hence why we've done that.
Yeah, we've covered cornerbacks and safeties now. And I think this is the year that Howie needs to really turn over the secondary for the Eagles, man. This is going to be one of the most expensive units in the league in 2024 and 2025 at 20% of the cap. And you've got James Bradbury, who looks absolute garbage. Darius Slay is not getting any younger. And they've got a bunch of unproven guys under Slay. So this is definitely some key guys that you should know about for sure, as the Eagles need to revamp. I mean, they're passing defense DVOAs among the worst in the league.
The worst, yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And there's no really getting out of either of those Slay or Bradbury contracts, unfortunately. A lot of dead money hitting there. So hence why I really would love them to kind of play Ringo and Ricks. Again, they're coming along slow, but they're starting to come along. And, with Blankenship, doing a decent job, and Sidney Brown kind of finding his way. There is some hope, but we need some help.
Yep. All right. Ryan, let's end this show here. Plugs, time is yours.
Yeah. Hey, listen, always appreciate everybody for chiming in and listening and watching these videos. It does mean a lot to us. We're going through every single position there is. We're even doing college football playoff. Those 4 teams were doing their top 10. So check out those videos. We're going to be doing content constantly leading all the way up until the draft. So if there's something you want to see, let us know. You want to see a top 10, I don't know, left-handed players. I don't care. Whatever. Make it up. Let us know. We'll do it. So, we absolutely love this stuff. But again, as I always say, if you want to get involved in the draft and you love the NFL as much as we do, you've got to embrace the college game, even a tiny bit. And it starts right here. It starts watching draft stuff. So head on over to Edge of Philly Sports. The YouTube channel has all of our videos. This guy made about 5 billion videos, no exaggeration. So check them all out. Get yourself involved. Get yourself knowledgeable about these prospects. It'll do you so much good. And I'm telling you, when you're watching the draft and you're just like, boom, I know that guy, boom. Oh yeah, that guy's really soft in coverage or whatever, you're going to be impressing your friends. If not for anything, do that. But otherwise, check out Edge of Philly Sports. We're on here all week. This is probably the last show before Christmas that I'll be on here. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. Be safe, be happy, have a couple of drinks, and hopefully we can watch the Birds, win, and it'll be a Christmas miracle.
They better beat the Giants.
I know. I don't want to ruin my Christmas.
Yeah, I know, right? Guys, thank you everyone for watching. Go give Brian a follow on X at Philly Sports PSA. I'm Dives, Mr. Crockpot. I will catch you on the next one, guys. Please be sure to subscribe because we'll be throwing out a poll on. You're going to vote for what position we tackle next.
Left hand.
We've done that every single show, and you guys have done a great job pointing out who we should target. We'll probably throw in wide receiver for sure. We might as well throw out defensive tackle and just finish the defense.
Right. Right.
But yeah, this is kind of an ongoing process. These are our pre-combine rankings. And the plan is to pump out all position rankings and then get into the nitty-gritty, which is like the day 3 sleepers, all that fun stuff, which are by far my favorite pieces of this. So, again, thank you everyone for watching. He is Ryan Reese. I am Dives. Stay awesome, everyone.